Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, who was appointed to that position tonight, lost her bid for the Democratic Party's nomination.
After our first WGN Investigates report on questionable spending by South Suburban politician Tiffany Henyard, it appears
Chaos appears to be a constant in the life of Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, Illinois, and recently ousted Thornton Township supervisor. Amid a whirlwind of political drama, legal battles, and public outrage, Henyard now finds herself at the heart of yet another controversy following her removal from office.
Thornton Township. You can also say that she flunked out because her name is not appearing on the...
Even before the event began, cracks in Tiffany Henyard's plans started to appear. According to the rules, any candidate running for township supervisor needed a full slate of 8 candidates, including positions such as highway director, clerk, assessor, and trustees. However, Henyard's ticket was missing a certified assessor, which was enough to disqualify her. As a result, her name never made it onto the ballot. Instead, Illinois State Senator and Thornton Township Democratic Committeeman Napoleon Harris seized the nomination for himself, securing his spot as the Democratic candidate for supervisor. Tension filled the room as Henyard confronted Harris, accusing him of running an illegal and unfair process. "You didn't run any of this the right way," she shouted, calling it illegal. Her frustration was palpable, and the atmosphere quickly soured. Supporters of Harris responded with a mocking rendition of a late 60s pop classic, further escalating the tension. Henyard, visibly shaken, stormed out of the room. It was a scene straight out of a political soap opera, with headlines practically writing themselves. Henyard had been outmaneuvered, and her political ambitions were derailed, at least for now.
Our perception issues with it, that our right to get attention. Will the court look at those perception issues? Probably not.
But Tiffany Henyard wasn't going down without a fight. Outside the auditorium, she vowed to challenge the outcome, claiming the entire process had been rigged against her. According to Henyard, many of her supporters were literally shut out, but she had arranged buses to bring senior citizens to vote on her behalf, but many arrived late and were unable to enter the venue, which had already reached its 600-person capacity. To Henyard, this was no accident. "This is illegal," she declared, promising legal action. "I will be suing everyone tomorrow." As dramatic as her exit was, the fallout proved just as messy. Henyard's attorney argued that the caucus rules had been selectively enforced and that her slate of candidates was unfairly disqualified. On the other side, Harris's camp maintained that everything had been done by the book. His attorney pointed out that the rules had been made available in advance and dismissed Henyard's claims as baseless. "This process has been going on long before me, and I'm just exercising my role as committeeman to hold a caucus," Harris said, defending the caucus as a legitimate and democratic tradition. For Harris, the caucus was a strategic victory. By switching from a primary to a caucus, he effectively eliminated the need to face Henyard in a larger election. Henyard, however, saw it as a calculated move to silence her and her supporters.
Grassroots, it was organic when a lot of this things started at the township, where the people were,
Opponents celebrated their victory, while Henyard's allies rallied behind her, insisting she still had a path forward. Supporters argued that she could launch a successful write-in campaign, relying on her name recognition and loyal voter base. "I think enough people know her name to write her in," said Keith Price, a vocal Henyard ally. "We could still win it yet." However, Henyard's career has been plagued by scandal after scandal, and her critics believe her latest defeat is a long overdue reckoning. Over the past year, she has faced allegations of corruption, reckless spending, and misuse of township resources. Reports revealed that township funds were used for lavish trips, first-class flights, and expensive meals. One shocking revelation even detailed how Henyard allegedly spent tens of thousands of township dollars on Amazon purchases, leading critics to question how such spending could possibly benefit her constituents. For many, these scandals have overshadowed any political ambitions she still harbors.
32 minutes to an individual that doesn't give a damn about anybody's time.
Her leadership style has been described as abrasive and confrontational, often alienating both colleagues and residents. During a recent Dalton Village Board meeting, she defiantly declared, "Like it or not, I am your mayor." Many attendees responded by walking out or turning their backs on her, a clear sign of the division her leadership has caused within the community. Adding to her troubles, Dalton has been without a permanent police chief for most of the year, leaving the department in disarray. Henyard's hand-picked interim chief was recently forced out after a judge ruled that he was unqualified. Meanwhile, morale among Dalton police officers has reportedly plummeted, with many feeling unsupported and overburdened. Henyard's handling of both the police department and her overall leadership has only deepened the challenges facing the town.
We already know she's not going to win that supervisor seat.
The lack of stable police leadership has not only caused internal disarray, but also contributed to a public safety crisis in Dalton. Residents have expressed growing concerns about rising crime, with some blaming Henyard's administration for failing to allocate the necessary resources to law enforcement. Critics argue that her focus on personal security, spending hundreds of thousands of township funds on her own police detail, has left the community vulnerable. Even more alarming are allegations that Henyard has weaponized the police department for personal and political gain. Several local business owners have claimed they were targeted for raids after refusing to make donations to events connected to Henyard. These chilling accusations have sent shockwaves through the community, with some business leaders calling it a blatant abuse of power, further fueling distrust in her leadership.
2%. Know this, I am going to come through on a landslide just like Trump did. Know that I will be victorious.
The controversy surrounding Henyard's leadership has extended into Dalton's finances. Beyond a reported deficit, her administration is accused of blocking grant funding for crucial community projects. For example, a $400,000 grant intended to revitalize local parks is now at risk of expiring because Henyard's office allegedly refused to issue the necessary permits. Park district officials have publicly criticized her, claiming she is prioritizing political grudges over the needs of residents. One official stated, "The people of Dalton are paying the price for this petty feud." Financial disputes have further deepened the rift between Henyard and her critics. Some trustees have suggested that her financial mismanagement is intentional, with one alleging that her push to drastically reduce the salary for future township supervisors is a calculated move to consolidate power. She's trying to ensure no one else has the resources to challenge her authority, the trustee said. This claim has fueled speculation that Henyard views her public roles as personal fiefdoms rather than positions of service. Henyard has also come under scrutiny. A report by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot revealed that Dalton's general fund balance plummeted from over $5 million in 2022 to a deficit of more than $3 million by 2024. The report highlighted questionable expenses, including luxury purchases and unexplained credit card charges. Critics have called for greater accountability, with some even labeling Henyard as the worst mayor in Dalton's history.
The citizens of Dalton, and you will not continue to treat us like this, because you are on.
Henyard has dismissed her critics as political opportunists and vowed to continue fighting for her constituents. "The show will go on," she declared. However, with ongoing legal battles, investigations, and a community that seems increasingly divided, it's hard to see how she can recover from the political and personal blows she's sustained. Despite her defiance, calls for accountability have only grown louder. Community activists and watchdog groups have begun organizing town halls and forums to demand transparency from her administration. Some have even proposed petitioning for a state audit of Dalton's finances in hopes of uncovering what they describe as unchecked corruption. If she's innocent, she should welcome a full investigation. But if she's guilty, the people deserve to know the truth, one activist remarked. These efforts signal that Henyard's challenges have evolved beyond politics. They've become a grassroots movement for change. The public has watched all of this unfold with a mixture of fascination and disbelief. Social media is abuzz with commentary on Henyard's latest controversies, with both critics and supporters weighing in on her future. One commenter summed up the sentiments of many: "She didn't get a chance to speak." What's left to say another was more blunt: "That woman needs to be arrested and her assets seized before she's put in prison for life." At this point, it's hard to predict what's next for Henyard. Will she rally her supporters and stage a comeback? Or is this the final chapter in her tumultuous political career? One thing is certain: her story is far from over. As investigations continue and lawsuits pile up, the drama surrounding Tiffany Henyard shows no signs of fading.